Time to come in. Time to start the meeting. She's here. She's.
I'll text him just to make sure.
It's 5:45. We'll go ahead and open the public hearing for Tuesday, November 12, 2024. Page roll call.
Rothschild, Kennett, Swanson,
Here.
Barnhart, Roothouse, James,
Here.
Samowski,
Here.
Arnold.
Here.
Okay, we have a quorum. Item number 1 under public hearings, 1.1, the public hearing, an increase from 9 to 10 Class A liquor licenses.
Yeah, so this is an opportunity for any public input into the matter. Scott McAvoy is here tonight from the business who has applied for a Class A liquor license. Scott, I don't know if there's no other comment, if you wanted to give a brief synopsis to the council, we have 10 minutes of the hearing, so feel free to do that if you would like to.
Take too much of your time, but
Scott, can you come up to the mic, please?
Well, first off, I'd like to say thank you to the city for being so patient through these 3.5 years of my build out for the place. We've talked about this ad nauseum with people in the past with the city about what we're looking to do. It's morphed into a situation where we're looking to have now a wine bar slash grocer, high-end grocer with olives, cheeses, just small bites and whatnot. So I suppose that I'm here to go ahead and see if this can be all approved with the city, and hopefully we can continue on. So thanks for your time. And again, thanks for Geneseo's patience.
So now we have to allow 10 minutes to elapse for the purposes of the public hearing. So enjoy the time together.
I don't you have to tell jokes.
I'm anxious to see the inside.
My truck is there. If it's there, you're most welcome to stop in. People do it all often.
I know you were really hard, not just, oh, that's just going to fall.
When do you open?
We're looking to have perhaps a New Year's Eve.
You gotta come up to the mic.
Yeah.
I'm sorry.
For the purposes of our live stream, yeah.
I realize this question answered, so that's okay. That's okay.
Sorry.
So when are we looking to open? I think it's going to be a few soft openings, but we would like to go ahead and have something going on for New Year's, for the New Year's party. So something like that, just to go ahead and kickstart things, and then moving into spring, continue to add events or ideas or whatever comes forward, I suppose.
So it's 2 levels in there?
2 levels.
So what's
one-
upstairs then? Is that the grocery or?
No, the grocer's going to be downstairs. We're going to have a full kitchen. So we're going to looking to do event space as well, if anybody wants to come in with catering for that. So we'll have a full kitchen. The first floor is going to be more just lounge sitting and whatnot. We're looking to have music as well. And the second floor is going to be, I'd love to go ahead and open the place as much as I can to local artists so they can have their artwork around, but it's going to be more, pardon the term, but swanky wine bar type upstairs, lounge couches and whatnot. But I've got 2 ADA bathrooms upstairs. I have a lift for access to those ADA bathrooms from the first floor to the second floor. And I also have a bathroom on the first floor for those who don't care to deal with the lifts and whatnot. Let's see, as far as moving forward, I'm just trying to finish the place right now, just trying to get it to a point where we can get to a, like I said, the new year and go from there, I suppose.
So you said there'll be
Again,
entertainment, you're gonna have a stage in there or something, or just chairs or?
we're gonna, yeah, it's gonna be hopefully a little more adult themed. I don't mean to say that in a negative sense.
No.
I really want to, what I want to do here is I want to add to the community. I don't want to compete. We're not gonna have beer. We'll have beer out of cans. We're not necessarily gonna compete with, the local restaurants with their food and whatnot. We really just want to add to the space of Geneseo. I'm sorry, your question.
That's good.
Yeah.
Good. Sounds good.
We got 7.5 minutes left. So,
Yeah.
yeah, you have to excuse me. I wasn't sure what was happening
Look at
tonight.
that elevator with that lift in there.
Oh, I just did a little research and Rick's seen it there, been there a couple times. So I just realized that it's been an interesting project. When I first bought the building and when I moved into the building, I came from Chicago and I've been in construction in Chicago. So I thought perhaps I would just do retail space on the first floor and a Chicago loft on the second floor. But when I got into the building and realized all the particulars about it, it has an atrium that was original. The original upstairs was for a photography studio. So I saw that and I said, well, this can't be just for one person or two people from the city. This should be for everybody. It's a nice atrium and skylight and whatnot. So once I saw that, then I realized, well, maybe I could do 2 levels of retail or something like that. I just wanted to add, just wanted to make sure that that second floor was accessible to people. So that morphed into, well, if I'm going to have it accessible to people, I want to make sure that everybody has access to it. I can't have second floor without people being able to get up there. So then everybody can take the stairs. So that's when I kind of just really thought hard and talked to Rick about it and about bringing the ADA bathrooms upstairs. Well, how could I do that? Well, I needed an elevator to do that. There really wasn't the space on the first floor to do so. I was looking for some kitchen space and whatnot, and it just really wasn't a space to go ahead and put 2, at least 1 or 2 bathrooms up there. So it just worked out I moved them upstairs, brought access to them that way. And then after all of that was done, I thought, well, it's, maybe 1 more on the first floor because not everybody wants to take the lift, or perhaps, for the workers who were there or whatnot. So then I had a 3rd bathroom for the downstairs and still have plenty of open space on each floor to entertain. Kitchen is downstairs. The kitchen is downstairs. And from day one, when I'm working there, I get a knock on the door. What are you looking to do with this place? I get a knock on the door. What are you looking to display? From the last 3.5 years, all the time. And the city has been fantastic about the support and the kind words. I've heard nothing. It's been 100% positive that I've heard from the city, which is amazing because it's been a long time, for me to be working on this. And I realize that I've done a lot of this stuff in Chicago and I brought it back here and I really have just it's been me and my father's helped a lot. But I've taken my time on doing this place. I've got other projects elsewhere, whatnot in the city, in town. So I've kind of lent myself to those for a little while, but this was always in the back of my mind. So when I could spend some time there, I would. And I, talk to Rick and talk to whomever it would be. People coming in, if I can spend time there, then I get more and more done. But people come in, they ask, and I always bring them through. Like I said, if my truck is there, you're most welcome to walk through. And I want to show the people of the town what I'm looking to do. And like I said, the response has been fantastic. So I really appreciate that.
Well, thanks, Scott. Appreciate the
pleasure. Thank
historical review of the project. For the purposes of a public hearing, and since we do have public in attendance, is there anybody at this time that would like to make a comment about the project? No? We can go ahead and adjourn. Item number 2 would be adjournment. I'd entertain a motion to adjourn.
Motion to adjourn?
Motion by Arnold. Second by Samosky. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. We're adjourned.
Well, you all came here for me just today? I'm sorry. I'll make it worth your while. at some point. Oh, okay. Oh, yeah, sure. Okay. Well, good. Thank you. Come on. Steve. Good. Oh, yeah, right now. That was, I think, the special. Oh, for the, oh, good, and then this was the regular. Yeah, yeah. No, it's good. I think it's awesome, because with the building over there, yeah, no, it's the one section of the light, and you can like, yeah, that's terrible. Watch it. I watched randomly one night, my wife and I were upstairs, and there was some band playing, and she knew some people there, and they invited us in to watch the band, and it was pretty neat. Yeah, give us a couple beers. But then, I saw the sign that the apartment posted, you know, so that, hey, there's some things coming up. It's really exciting. We'll be happy to help you with everything. Yeah, absolutely. Sure. Sean. Yeah, and that's not a comment. Yeah, so whenever you're ready, just let us know. Oh, yeah. If you're done, I'd say you're good to go. Yeah, the rough start.
It's 6 o'clock. We'll go ahead and call to order the regular city council meeting for Tuesday, November 12th, 2024. I believe Pastor Steve is with us.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor and members of the council. Just wanted to share one thought very briefly and then a word of prayer. The thought is there's so much in America that can divide us. We have a two-party system. I don't know that the founding fathers quite anticipated how partisan that would be. So I was trying to think about what is something that every one of us in this room could agree on. Aren't you glad the election is over? Aren't you glad no more robocalls, no more political ads? None of it. It's done. I have never been so happy to be done with an election. So I think in the midst of all of the disagreements we might have, just think about that there's always something that we can unite around. Let's pray. Lord Jesus, I pray that you would help us to set an example that our country sorely needs. Lord, that we can disagree with one another without being disagreeable, that we can have friendships across the aisle, that we don't have to threaten to leave our country if the other party wins. Lord, I pray that you would continue to give us that kind of a balance in Geneseo, that we value the whole and realize that the whole is greater than the sum of its parts. And so, Lord, I pray that you would bless this council meeting, and Lord, that we would find a way to be unified, even in the midst of small issues that we may disagree on. Pray in Jesus' name, amen.
Amen.
If we could all stand for the Pledge of Allegiance.
United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Page roll call.
Rothschild.
Here.
Kennett.
Here.
Swanson.
Here.
Barnhart. Roothouse.
Here.
James.
Here.
Samowski. Here. Arnold.
Here.
Okay, we have a quorum. Item number 4 would be the Chamber of Commerce report. Zach.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor, and good evening to the City Council. This is your Geneseo Chamber of Commerce report for November 2024. I'm Zach Sullivan, and I approve this message. We are currently, as far as new members go, we're at 293 members now. I would like to welcome Sterling Business Machines, SBM Equipment Center is what they're commonly referred to as. They have recently joined the chamber. And also Trebella Art, that is local artist Jamie Sullivan, who is right now, she received a grant from the Illinois Arts Council, and she's looking at possibly bringing some public art to Geneseo in the form of sculptures. So this could be exciting for the community, so stay tuned for that. And also Kukuru Excavation, the Kukuru's ever-growing businesses, and now their kids are starting to, I say that because I grew up with them and worked at La Roma's when I was a teenager. But it's so cool to have Hayden come in and with his business and join the chamber and get up and going. I actually have goosebumps thinking about it just because, just right now. So very happy for Hayden and Kukuru Excavation. Past event recaps. So we finished at the Geneseo Chamber our Cruise the Canal tours for the year, the fall foliage tours. It was a beautiful day, the beautiful colors along the canal. Overall, 180 tourists came to Geneseo because of the canal tours this year, and we bring them in. We point them towards Geneseo, I should say. They have to drive the golf cart on the canal; they can't drive it to town. But it's not only an opportunity to bring tourism to Geneseo, but it's an opportunity to increase exposure for the Hennepin Canal and the State Parkway. 10% of the proceeds do go to the IDNR for maintenance and preservation of the Hennepin Canal. And this year we wrote a $500 check to help with that. So we're happy to contribute that to the Illinois Department of Natural Resources. So we're looking forward to doing them again next year. Witches Weekend is a shopping promotion that took place from October 24th through the 26th, in which shoppers enter to win Geneseo Chamber gift certificates. And we had 763 entries during those 3 days. So that many people coming into the stores, the participating stores, there were 15. And so we're encouraged by that people are getting out there to shop. It's not easy right now for retail, but we're doing what we can to help get people out there to Geneseo stores. Scarecrow Row was October 26th. We had over 4,000 people at this year's event. You know, this has become a huge event. It's a lot of fun. We had really good weather. Wind wasn't a factor for once, so that was really cool. But it's a great opportunity for businesses who aren't just, we do so many things just downtown Geneseo, or promotions that tend to benefit downtown. This is one of those promotions that helps kind of spread everything around, and for some of our non-shopping and dining businesses to get involved with the community by purchasing candy and giving it out at these events, such as Springfield Armory. We had several banks, insurance companies doing this. And so that's really great for them to see this as that kind of community give back conduit in our community. So proud to do that. And we had 80 scarecrows, by the way, if you were wondering. That was only 2 less than last year, but we're staying consistent. We're still trying to get up towards 100. So we'll try again next year. Tie Yellow Ribbon. That's an initiative that the Geneseo Chamber does with the VFW here in Geneseo. We tie yellow ribbons around the trees at the city park and on the State Street Boulevard to honor veterans during the week leading up to Veterans Day. And so we had that there to kind of help accent the Isle of Flags display. Not that it needs any help at all. It's so gorgeous and majestic. But it's a really cool effort that the business community steps up to show that support in the veterans, right? That's the intent of the Chamber of Commerce doing this. And I just removed the ribbons today. So we got that one in the books. And then the Geneseo Chamber of Commerce Fall Breakfast was last Wednesday, November 6th at the Moose. And that's where we had Peter Tokar, he's the president and CEO of the Quad Cities Chamber, visit Geneseo to talk to business leaders about different issues insofar as economic development in the region and how that benefits Geneseo. For example, there are a lot of Geneseoans who make the commute to the Quad Cities to work every day. So whenever there's a new business that gets attracted to the Quad City area, let's use Amazon as an example, that's going to create jobs for Geneseoans. You know, so there is a big picture going on here, and it's more than just that too. But of course, we're also working with the Quad City Chamber to possibly partner to take a trip to Washington, D.C. They have reached out to the Geneseo Chamber to ask if we'd like to come along, and also inviting Geneseo businesses. And it looks like we have some interest from some businesses. So maybe we'll go to D.C. and kind of not only put Geneseo in front of our lawmakers and decision makers, but work to get some grants and secure some grant funding to come back to Geneseo with to improve our community and to make it a benefit. Would you like to come along, Alderman Arnold? All right, come on with. You're invited. Upcoming events. We have Christmas open house and the first lighting coming up this Friday, November 15th. The Christmas open house, I'll start there, is that is the kickoff to Geneseo's holiday shopping season. So we have candlelight shopping in which the lights are dimmed a little bit. Retailers offer discounts. Our restaurants are open, and they usually put some candlelights or luminaries out in front of their stores. And then we also have the Shop Geneseo promotion beginning that day, in which customers will spend $100 at Geneseo Chamber businesses, and they enter to win a variety of prizes. So that will start this Friday as well. But then we have the first lighting of the new tree. And I'm not going to take too much from Brandon's. There's a great video out there, but the tree looks great. I will say that. I have not seen anything bad said about it. Not that it won't, but we'll keep that going because I think, and I said this in the media, that I think people are going to be impressed when they see this new tree. Well, there it is, and I think it's looking really good, and we're really looking forward to lighting this up for the first time on Friday. So can't wait to see you all for the Christmas open house on Friday. And then finally, the Geneseo Christmas Walk is coming up on December 14th. We will have one more city council meeting where I'll get to tell you all about that one, so I won't drone on and on, but that one is a big event. Sponsorship money is coming in, and we are really looking forward to this year's Christmas Walk. So that does it for the Chamber of Commerce report. One more item of business. Happy birthday, Alderman Rothschild. Is there any other, I'm happy to take any questions.
What time is the lighting of the tree?
6. Okay.
Thanks, Zach.
Thanks so
Appreciate it. Okay, item number 5 on the agenda would be the city engineering report. Lauren, welcome.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Engineers report for November. There's still no change on Northeast Drainage Project. Still waiting on IDOT to final the materials certification out. On the Oakwood and North Street Water Main and Water Service Project, I believe that project is all wrapped up. And I think they even got all the streets, the streets patched up in the intersections. The North State Street project, all the PCC pavement is in and for the year for phase 1 or stage 1 of this year. Stage 2 will take off next spring and will be coming probably in March or April, talking to the board about maybe letting the contractor start a little earlier if the weather is cooperating. So they just have sidewalk pretty much left and the intersection temporary HMA pavement at Palace Row. So that project actually went according to schedule, so that's good to see. The well 33 project, the contractor is still trying to develop that well by flushing it and trying to get the GPMs up to where we want it to be. It's just about how they, I guess, construct the well and develop the well, and then they have to flush it to get everything to start flowing again properly. So that's what they're currently trying to do. And then on to reports and designs. Working with city staff still on the design options and cost for the sidewalk or pedestrian access out Exchange Street to Chicago Street and along Chicago Street. Also, I know we submitted on the pedestrian bridge and we're waiting to hear back from the ITEP grant folks for that. The Geneseo water system, we're currently got my Denver team working on developing some estimates of construction costs for the options that we have out there. So that way we can show that and present that to the city here hopefully soon. And then I have a combination of my Denver and Montana staff working on developing the dam break analysis from the FEMA model and the FEMA information that they received from FEMA. So is there any questions from the council?
Yeah, what was the Geneseo Water Systems analysis? Did I miss that somewhere? What is that for?
Jack, the future well and water treatment system.
And
Okay.
potential tower.
Oh, in the tower?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yep.
Thanks, Warren.
Thank you.
Okay, moving on. Item number 6 on the agenda would be public comments related to agenda items. City ordinance allows members of the public to speak and give input up to 3 minutes. During public comment, there can be no debate or action by the city council at this time. Anyone in attendance want to make a statement? Yes, sir.
Good evening, everyone. I just want to make a quick comment on ordinance 2416, elected official compensation. First of all, I just wanted to say thank you so much to everyone here on the council for how hard you have all worked for the city of Geneseo. I've seen it personally. I've seen it with my family and all the people that I engage with on a daily basis. So I appreciate all that you do for the community. Certainly, I don't think the compensation that's projected in this ordinance even comes close to compensating you for all the hard work that you do. But what I want to do is encourage you to continue the streak that's been there since 1990. This streak, to continue it, requires, as you all know with no doubt, because you experience it yourselves, to ensure that the city council remains a council that serves solely based on your own spirit of volunteerism and how much you love Geneseo. I'm most concerned that this may potentially set a precedent, that your forebearers and the previous councils have done a great job in ensuring that we don't make this an annual compensation growth item where every year we're looking at. So I think as hard as it is that the city the city council members have had to go 35 years without having a pay raise, I think it's something that's really honorable that you all have continued that streak for 35 years. So I just ask for your consideration that you continue to maintain that precedent that's been set. And I look forward to hearing the rest of the discussion. Thank you.
Thank you. Anybody else? Okay, moving on. Item number 7 would be mayor's comments. And Zach Tuck touched on it briefly, but I'd just like to recognize not only the volunteers of Isle of Flags, but all the volunteers that go out to help with the setup and the takedown of the flags, because it was just incredible, the display the other day, a beautiful fall day with the sun and the flags, and it was just a perfect setting. And it's anybody that's participated, it is a labor intensive project to do so. It's a good spirited project. It's good for the heart, good for the soul, good for Geneseo, but it's volunteers like that that set us aside. And in that display, I challenge anybody to point out one within probably 100 miles that looks as good as that does. So well done by that organization. Next would be city council comments. Any members of the council? Nope. Brandon, city administrator comments.
Okay, just a few reminders. Election petition filing for council seats started today, and it ends on the 18th. That's next Monday at 5 p.m. It's the last day to file for the elections, which will be held next spring. Just a reminder, the burn pile becomes very popular this time of year to dispose of yard waste, leaves. The remaining dates are 11/15, 11/16, 11/22, 11/23, and then in December, we will be open Friday and Saturday, 12/6 and 12/7 for disposal out there. And if you're a subscriber to the curbside pickup with Republic Services, the last pickups will be 11/25 or 11/26, depending on when your pickup day is. That's it.
Okay, moving on. Item number 10, finance director comments. 10.1 would be the treasurer's report and capital assets report is submitted.
First is the budget book. Once I reviewed, I went in detail for a lot of things just to see kind of where we are, because this is pretty close, accurate of where we're going to end up. And all of the accounts were pretty close to in line or underneath for expenses. And really the only fund that is out of budget is hotel motel, which we approved some things out of, which is why their expenses are higher than the revenues. The next is the treasurer's report, which you can see that all of the funds end in a positive year-to-date actual, except for that hotel motel, which is good. Shows that we're maintaining and stabilizing our growth.
What's the perpetual here?
That's the cemetery. That one,
That's what I thought.
yeah, that one, we don't have any funds that go in there, so it won't ever, unless somebody donates, or we do put a portion at the end of the year of what sales from grave burials, but that doesn't happen until the end of the year.
So that was a big hit. I mean, that's a checking account balance. Yes.
Correct. Yep.
So that's really going down there.
We have CDs, so that might be what you're thinking. We do have CDs we have a restoration CD and a perpetual care CD. And that has the funds that we're required to have in the account. Any other questions on the budget book? Next is the capital assets spreadsheet. Really the big change on here was we did have payment for State Street come in. So you'll notice that the State Street Phase 1 billing has hit the account. And then lastly is the project overview from the directors.
We have 3 projects left to do this year. The 12470 conversion project, we are still waiting for the railroad to give us permits to be able to go underneath the railroad and to do some trenching along the telephone company. Once we get those, we will continue on that project. A lot of the places have been converted over. The stretch that we're really looking to do right now is Exchange Street and Progress Lane. That area is the only area that's left. The material has been bought for this. We're just waiting. The other one is the SCADA update for the power plant. River City Engineering will be on site tomorrow to start going through screens and reports. Scheduled to have this done by the end of the year. We have 2 PLCs that will also be changed out at the same time. So we'll run 2 SCADAs at the same time and then convert everything over slowly. So we don't have any interruptions. The last one is Unit 2's overhaul phase 1. The exhaust manifold was delivered today. The turbo has been rebuilt. The turbo did have quite a bit of damage to it. We had to replace all the bearings in it. The impeller was chipped. The intake casing was cracked in multiple spots. So it was a good thing that we got that thing out and repaired. We're hoping to have this done in mid-December. Everything should be in. We'll just wait for the contractor to come in and put it back together and get the engine back up and running. Any questions?
Quick update on the well that Lauren just touched briefly. It has been, as we've been developing it, after initial test pumping, we're a little over 300 gallon a minute. As they've developed it this morning, they're sitting at about 503 gallons per minute. So they're making great progress on it. They still are acidizing it and adding some bentonite remover to develop it some more. And we have quit working on Orange Street for the season. We switched our focus to putting in the transmission line out of the new well for the pump house, and then from the pump house to the pitless adapter when the contractor gets it installed.
So what is the rate you're trying to?
What's the rate they're trying to reach?
Our target initially was between 500 and 600 gallon per minute.
Okay, so you're almost there, or you're there now?
I'd say we're pretty close. Any questions?
Thanks, Chad.
Thank you.
I have one more question. American Rescue Plan. So you pulled those funds then for the phase 1?
Correct.
Correct. So it was sitting at, I didn't realize we got as much as 719. Why did I have in my head 400?
We got 2 tranche payments, so we had one payment and then the other one came later. That's probably why.
Motion to approve the treasurer's report and capital asset reports as submitted.
Motion by Arnold,
Second.
second by Swanson. Roll call.
Rothschild,
Yes.
Kennett,
Yes.
Swanson,
Yes.
Roothouse, James.
Yes.
Samowski,
Yes.
Arnold.
Yes.
Okay, motion carries. Item number 11 would be the consent agenda.
11.1, approval of previous minutes, regular council October 8th, 2024 minutes, public hearing October 22nd, 2024 minutes, committee of the whole October 22nd, 2024 minutes, special city council October 22nd, October 22nd, 2024 minutes. 11.2 R-24-21, a resolution regarding the intergovernmental cooperation contract with Illinois Municipal League Risk Management Association. 11.3 O-24-09 through O-24-13, abatement of general obligation bonds. 11.4 O-24-15, tax levy for fiscal year 2025. 11.5 facade improvement grant application for 119 North Russell, and 11.6 omnibus method.
Motion to approve using the omnibus method and to approve items 11.1 through 11.6.
Motion by Arnold,
Second.
second by Kennett. Roll call.
Arnold,
Yes.
Samowski,
Yes.
James.
Yes.
Roothouse, Swanson,
Yes.
Kennett,
Yes.
Rothschild.
Yes.
Okay, motion carries. Item number 12, there is no unfinished business. Moving on, item number 13, under administration, 13.1 would be the future solar project.
Okay, so this is the 4th public meeting that this topic has been in. We welcome back Tim and Dave from RSS who join us here tonight. Eric is also here with the electric department to talk about this project. Really what we're looking for tonight is to ask the council to decide on a land proposal for this project so we can survey the ground and then proceed forward with contracts, proposals on numbers, figures, predictions, and actually look if the project is going to be viable from there. This is really just to look at the site. There's been a lot of public feedback on where these should and should not be placed. So we've taken a hard look at that. An early presentation from March, which was a very broad scope overview at that time, had about 15 acres marked off of the City 68 acres at Prairie Park. We've taken a look at that, addressed some of the areas that seem to be a large concern from the public, which is the prairie grass around Route 82 on the west side. We've scrapped that from tonight's plan, and if Jamie scrolls down a little bit more, you'll see we've worked with RSS to consolidate and really look at doing this project around the city facilities on the south end of the 68 acres. This 68 acres has always been a multi-use facility. As we've pointed out in the previous meetings, the police department has an area of the 68 acres. Public Works has a large area with multiple operations going on. We have the civil defense grounds as well there. So we're looking at 11.11 acres to do this project. And I'll invite Eric and Tim and Dave up, and we can take a look, answer council questions that you might have. There's a rendering that RSS put together, which kind of shows how the panels would look, a 2 megawatt solar array on this ground.
So this is just a high level layout of what the solar array may look like. We tried to keep everything on the south side of this area, surrounding the burn pile, civil defense, and PD's shooting range.
Are you changing the topography at all?
Nothing major, no, the land as it is, it's not severe slopes or anything like that, so there'll be very minimal, ground disturbance.
Are we still gonna try to
Martin.
handle the?
Martin, please.
That's on.
I got it.
Oh, I was gonna say, to me, it looks, are they gonna be taking the panels and trying to face them north?
So yeah, from the rendering here, north and south is what's called single axis tracking. So
Okay.
it's going to turn as the sun goes from east to west. So that's what we're shooting for here.
You'll get more production out of it this way than if we had it fixed just to the south.
And this is going to be produce the same amount of energy as the one on the south side of town?
Twice as much.
Twice as much. Okay.
So we currently have roughly a 1 megawatt solar array. This will be a 2 megawatt.
And what are we looking for capacity? I mean, we're looking to move more than this, or?
Depending on how, the state of Illinois looks in the future, I would like to see us right around the 25% in renewables at some point.
Which is what?
Which would be, this project would take us to roughly around 18%. So we would have to still add a little bit more. Now, that doesn't say that there's other options that we could go down in the future. We could do purchase power agreements on the open market and go that route to get to that point also.
So, but there's no looking to, this isn't like a phase one?
No,
There's not a
this-
phase two or anything
this
like
would
that?
just be that phase.
Okay.
As far as the land goes here, this is where we want to be.
Brandon, what's been the comment so far? Does this meet those criteria that they've been asking for, or?
Yeah, a lot of the feedback, like I said, was focused on the fact that the prairie grasses along Route 82 on the west side, again, that's north of what you see on the map of the police shooting range. That was all blacked out on the original overlook of potential sites. So we've taken that away, and the team with RSS and Eric have looked, and they're able to, the mapping of what you see in front of you has changed a little bit on the south side to include some areas that are unused in the corner along the police shooting range and such. But that we believe, unless the guys want to correct me, that gets you to what is needed to get to a 2 megawatt array, which was the goal.
And what's the time frame we're looking at?
It's a good question. It's, we're hoping that with proper approvals and everything getting approved, it's getting tight to potentially be online by the end of next year. That's if everything goes great. So more realistically, probably into 2026, but try very hard to hit the end of next year.
Thank you.
The little chunk on the west end that's on 82, that'd be the only thing that I would think would be maybe kind of an eyesore, right? Just that little. I'm just thinking driving, how many people drive right by it? That would be right up butted against the highway, right?
Correct.
Just that little teeny piece. How much would you lose if we just didn't do that little chunk?
It would be enough to be significant, but, you know, and this isn't a finalized, you know, we could do more tweaks to it as we move forward. So if that's the goal, is to shrink that, we'll do everything we can to try to move that around. And from the survey and once we get kind of the actual property boundaries, this is kind of very high level using GIS mapping, which isn't exact. So there may be ways to kind of shift that if possible. That's the goal.
So this is the final rendering? This is not what we're going with, or we are? Or?
The area is what we're asking to be okay with, to do the survey and then further move along with final engineering as things get approved.
In the middle and the lower, short,
Microphone.
box art.
In the middle on the short pieces, with the burn pile straight to the north, is that trying to stay away from the burn pile, or could those be longer?
So you kind of think of it in strings. So the shorter ones is equal to one string of panels. So we could potentially do half strings, but you tend to want to keep it in single or double strings. But like I said, there's more maneuverability once we kind of get into a little further engineering to potentially consolidate into that one larger area.
So if that little piece by the highway was to go away, could you still get
We
what
could
you
potentially
needed?
piece it together in there. That's, that is our goal, that would be helpful, taking into consideration the visual of it. And if we can do without that small section and put it in there, that'd be great. Yeah.
So even though there's a burn pile there and there may be embers or something like that, that's not affected by the solar panels?
No, it might, soot and ash, obviously you might, but we're not anticipating any major issues. That, there's been brush fires there or anything that I'm aware of, so.
Yeah, I will point out that, in the discussion about the corner, we really focused on not doing this in the prairie grass area to the north and adding that corner. I don't know if you have additional input, Eric, but that does not get us to the 2 megawatt number. So I don't know, viability wise, when we come back with these contracts and proposals, that's going to impact the feasibility of doing this, I believe, if we don't use that corner, and we try to avoid the concern areas.
The other thing it does by using this corner, this whole facility will have a fence around it, and it will block any people that are walking in the park from coming onto where the shooting range is and onto the solar array ground.
That makes sense.
Do we get a lot of comments about the south side being an eyesore since it's close? Anybody commented on anything like that?
With regards to the project?
Well, just, it's closer to the road, but I don't know if anybody's mentioned that.
None that
then.
I'm aware of. To be frank, the only comments concerning the appearance out there I have had is been kind of the condition it's currently in, even without the solar array. And we've addressed some of that with some of the junk cars that were there, some of the scrub brush and trees, and that area Mr. Roothouse pointed out is in need of attention too. Both from an appearance sake to access control with fencing and everything else. So we're trying to pull this all together as part of one plan.
Sure, I get you.
Yeah, and as Eric pointed out, to kind of go back to those early meetings from earlier this year, outside of the fact that we own the land, obviously there's a major financial benefit there than going out and buying land for a project like this. But number 2 is really looking at those access control issues with the police updating their range and then adding this corner. This whole thing will be fenced in and have a secure fence and gate to access all those areas. So we like that area, including it too, and be able to encompass the whole thing and not have anybody walking trails or anything anywhere near that area.
Scott, I just want to point out, I do see you there and there'll be an opportunity for public comment at the end of the meeting here. So, yep. Yeah, I understand. I recognize you and there'll be another opportunity for public comment. Thank you.
So there's no decision tonight, right? You're just kind of showing it to them and.
Yeah, so
Is that what
again,
we're doing?
tonight,
What's
we're
the plan
looking
here?
for action from council to say, we like this new proposed site location, and then we would move to do a survey of the ground, come back with an exact new parcel. And then we can move forward to come back to council with contracts, because the amount of land we approve is going to impact the feasibility of doing this, the contracts, the money involved. Come back to council with that full presentation to look at it based on the land that we approved to be surveyed tonight.
So is that 13-1 and 13-2 that we're doing at once, or is it separate?
The 13-2 is different. That's for the farm lease agreement at the south side.
Okay.
So I'll make a motion to direct staff to conduct a land parcel survey, presented approximately 11.11 acres of ground for future.
For future solar project.
Motion by Arnold,
Second.
second by Swanson. Roll call.
Rothschild,
Yes.
Swanson,
Yes.
Kennett,
Yes.
Arnold,
Yes.
James,
Yes.
Samowski,
Yes.
Roothouse.
Yes.
Okay, motion carries. 13.2 on the agenda, the request for proposal process land lease agreement for the 11 acres at the renewable energy site.
Okay, this is a discussion from the committee meeting, the last public meeting that we had. As we explained at that meeting, this is in regards to the land in the Interstate 80 corridor that the city currently has the 2 wind turbines on and the current solar array. We have about 11 acres of ground that we do not use out there, that the electric department maintains, cuts, spends money on equipment upkeep on. Eric was approached by a farmer who sparked interest on maybe using some of those grounds to plant crop on. So at the last meeting, we proposed to the council that we think this is a good idea. If we can control it and do an RFP process to put it out to all farmers to bid on a per acre price to lease the land, and come back with proposals on low profile crops that might work in that area. It's a little bit of additional revenue for the electric department, and it ends us having to maintain the ground. This is not suitable ground for another solar array. I don't know if Eric wants to add to that, but it's north facing ground, and we really don't want to do the project on the south end of town if we're going to add renewable energy.
Yeah, for this size of project, this land isn't usable for it. A lot of this land is sloping towards the north. We do have room on where the current solar array is to expand that and behind Turbine 2, but most of it is hills that face the north side and waterway. So if we could get someone in there that would plant a low-lying crop like alfalfa and then harvest it and then keep it mowed, that's what we're looking for.
So is the agreement contingent on it being a low growing crop? Like, would beans be considered low growing, or is it beans and alfalfa?
Original plan wanted there.
Yeah, the first year being beans and then being alfalfa or something low growing like that.
And we bought the land previously because that was part of the whole plot?
Yeah, so there's 26 acres out there currently. We bought it originally for the 2 wind turbines.
Okay.
And that is in the proposed RFP for council tonight. One of the attachments in there has that laid out about a low profile crop for anybody that's going to bid.
Motion to approve the proposed RFP process, directing staff to publicly post the RFP packet effective 11/13/24.
Motion by Arnold. Second by Rothschild. Roll call.
Arnold,
Yes.
James,
Yes.
Swanson,
Yes.
Rothschild,
Yes.
Kennett,
Yes.
Samowski,
Yes.
Roothouse.
Okay, motion carries. 13.3 would be the approval of service proposal for audit services, years 2024 through 2028.
Okay, so the council directed us to put the city audit out for RFP. We have done that. The mayor established a committee to review the proposals. That was Rothschild, Samowski, Matthews, and myself. We did receive 3 proposals back for auditing services for the city. We put this out for years 2024 through 2028. We invited all 3 of the bidders to come in and present to us. And we are recommending, based on the price and the services they performed on their presentation, to hire Lauterbach and Amen LLP as our auditors for year 24 through 28. Again, they were the lowest bidders in the scope of the project, but beyond that, the services that they offered were above the other ones. So there's tack-on charges for some of these services that are offered in other proposals. And with that, I don't know if Jamie or Paul or Martin want to add anything, but that's going to be our recommendation, I think.
It was an interesting process, but I really believe that by going to Lauterbach, we're going to save money, we're going to do better and move forward. I'm happy with it.
Motion to approve the proposal from Lauterbach and Amen for city auditing services for fiscal year 2024 through 2028.
Motion by Arnold,
Second.
second by Samosky. Roll call.
Swanson,
Yes.
Roothouse,
Yes.
Kennett,
Yes.
James,
Yes.
Samowski,
Yes.
Rothschild,
Yes.
Arnold.
Yes.
Okay, motion carries. 13.4 on the agenda, O-24-17, an increase in the number of permitted Class A liquor licenses.
Okay, so we had a public hearing tonight at 5:45. Everybody heard from Scott McAvoy, the owner of Gaslight Grocer and Wine Bar. They are getting close to opening that business on State Street. To do this, the council needs to take action on this ordinance, which is a change to our liquor code. Right now, we have 9 established Class A liquor licenses under the code. So we need to take action to add a 10th license to be able to give the McAvoys a license for their new business.
Motion to recommend approval of O-24-17 to the special city council meeting to be held on 11/26/24.
Motion by Arnold,
Second.
second by Rothschild. Roll call.
Samowski,
Yes.
Rothschild,
Yes.
Kennett,
Yes.
James.
Yes.
Arnold,
Yes.
Swanson,
Yes.
Roothouse.
Okay, motion carries. 13.5 would be the facade grant approval for the VFW.
Geneseo VFW has applied for a facade grant. This is a program under the downtown TIF program that we have in downtown Geneseo in the historic district. This is a qualifying grant application. It is for a new exterior door on State Street. This is a 50-50 grant program up to $10,000 if awarded. So the bid that they have received is for $7,105. They would qualify for half of that being paid back by the program if approved.
Motion to recommend to the 11/26/24 special city council meeting approval of the facade grant for the Geneseo VFW up to $35,5250 for 50% of proposed upgrades.
Motion by Arnold,
Second.
second by Kennett. Roll call.
Rothschild,
Yes.
Kennett,
Yes.
Swanson,
Yes.
Roothouse,
Yes.
James,
Yes.
Samowski,
Yes.
Arnold.
Yes.
Okay, motion carries. 13.6 would be O-24-16, elected official compensation.
Okay, we first presented this topic in the committee of the whole meeting. Again, this is a proposal based on the premise that we have compensation tied to our elected official positions. We can't enact this and immediately the council can't vote on something and give themselves a raise. So this wouldn't go into effect until the next election cycle next spring for those seated. So, again, this is on the premise of, I think that everybody does this for the service to the community, but if we're going to have compensation tied to something every 30, 35 years seems like a reasonable time period to take another look at it and potentially increase it with the times. So that's what this is.
Would you put that in the, like we heard from the public, would you put that in the stipulation that it has to be reviewed every 10, 15 years? Does that matter? So we can't do it year to year? Or does it matter?
I don't know that we could put that in, yeah.
You can't bind a future board.
Okay. Motion to approve O-2416.
Motion by Arnold. Second by Rothschild. Roll call.
Arnold,
Yes.
Samowski,
Yes.
James,
Yes.
Roothouse,
Yes.
Swanson,
Yes.
Kennett,
No.
Rothschild.
Yes.
Okay, motion carries. Item number 14 would be the payment of city and utility bills.
Motion to approve the city bills as presented.
Motion by Arnold. Second by James. Roll call.
James,
Yes.
Roothouse,
Yes.
Swanson,
Yes.
Kennett,
Yes.
Samowski,
Yes.
Arnold,
Yes.
Rothschild.
Yes.
Okay, motion carries. Item number 15 would be public comment related to all other items. City ordinance allows members of the public to speak and give input up to 3 minutes. During public comment, there can be no debate or action by the city council at this time. Scott, I know you're patiently waiting.
If anybody else wants to start, you're more than welcome to.
Well, you were waving your hand the whole time, but if you want to be first, or we can,
I can. So.
can you come up, Scott, please?
My name is Scott Schnaufer. I'm a local resident, been a member of this town for a long time. Came back, moved around, came back a bunch of different times, and I'm back. Currently, I am the acting trail steward at Prairie Park here in Geneseo. I understand that the website presence on qcfork.org at Prairie Park is somewhat outdated. It does express the fact that we have some great plans for trails out there. I know we had worked in conjunction with the city to get a better parking lot moved off of 82. Now we're talking about keeping the prairie on 82 pristine, but we really shouldn't have a parking area there because I've been told we don't have good access to park there. So we have the parking area off of Russo Road. Well, now there's going to be a fence around that, and I don't know if there's going to be good access to that trail system. There is a trail system in that lower area, that south area. I don't know what that would necessarily look like, and I don't know if anybody else does either. So, and I know that it isn't just bikers, it's hikers, it's dog people from the animal shelter walk their dogs in that area pretty frequently. So it's definitely something to consider. So,
yeah.
Yeah.
So I think, Scott, I'd encourage you to maybe make time to meet with Brandon at some time.
Yes.
And since you're kind of a steward of the bike association out there, I think there could be some valuable discussion to occur.
There definitely could. I know I saw at least some information that said that Fork had been somehow disbanded by the Illinois state or something like that. We're a nonprofit organization, 501c3. I have a copy of the letter from the IRS. We have information on the website about how to donate and how to maintain the trails. It's been a bit of a struggle getting people from the Quad Cities out here to build the trail system into what it could be. And so it's somewhat floundered a little bit that way, but it definitely could have been or can be a destination. But with the solar panels, I think that might be kind of off the table because the property is small to start with from a trail system standpoint. So.
Yeah, I would just encourage maybe a meeting with the city administrator, Meg Lynn.
And our original agreement was several administrations ago. So, and there really hasn't been a whole lot of communication on both of our parts. So.
Yeah, I mean, I would just add for your sake as well as the entire community's sake. I mean, the city believes that green energy and green space can occupy the same space, and we're not looking to eliminate. I think we're doing
Well,
everything we can to try to.
When we talk about fences around the areas and the entrance from that parking area that got put in is basically right there against that fence.
Right.
And
And that's why I think a discussion between yourself and the city, because it's that type of feedback that we need
Sure.
to be mindful of every consideration we make out there. So, thank you.
Can I show him this?
Yeah.
Can I show you something?
Yeah.
That's what the state of Illinois Business Services Office and the Secretary of State.
Okay.
Just so you guys know what I'm showing him.
Okay, I appreciate that. Thank you.
The corporation known as Friends of Off-Road Cycling, which is a not-for-profit corporation from Iowa and registered to do business in Illinois, had their authorization revoked about 14 years ago.
Appreciate that. It just, again, for the public's sake, anybody that's here, anybody that's watching live stream, feel free to reach out to your councilman, myself. I'm always approachable. City Administrator Meglin. We're mindful of concerns about the impact of the community. We just took a first step here tonight. There's plenty of opportunity for concerns to be heard, and we can, do everything we can to try to find a tool, like I said, to make sure that green energy and green space can continue to walk hand in hand. So, any other further public comment? No one?
I just wanted to say, it's
Okay.
a current parking lot, the little small one off 82. Is that still tentatively supposed to stay there? Or no?
Well, and
I
this
know it
is-
was always small to begin with, but
wanna talk about
local people.
complications with access control just briefly and summarize where we are with that? Because I think the council doesn't even understand.
Yeah, I think, and I'll let Chad add if he wants to, but I think, like Scott said, there was some discussion in 2015 when they originally talked to the city about the off-road cycling program, and there was a goal of closing that route on 82. Now, I think there was back and forth on should that stay a parking area, shouldn't it? And it really hasn't been maintained. I believe you can still drive in there, though. But this is kind of, again, back to my point number 2 after financials around if we do this, we really need to take a look at that whole park and say, do we need to make an investment on defining, okay, what are park grounds? What are the parking areas? Let's get some maps out there in the poster boards and define where people should be going and shouldn't be going. And, that's something that we want to have happen moving forward.
I was just going to say, people that park there, obviously, a lot of people do like photos and stuff in town, but those trails go all the way back off the city grounds into kind of like where the campgrounds are. And then they kind of like circle back, by the animal shelter.
And Chad, correct me if I'm wrong, but they're, for the lack of a better words, they're not even, some of that's not even really sanctioned trails or trails that we cut or place. Exactly. So
Okay.
that's where we're back to, that's where that, yeah, and that's where it's back to, and that's why I encourage Scott to have, provide input, because for the city's sake, it's important that we take a better look at this, regardless of whether or not we go forward with this project, and determine what access, where we believe people should be and what we believe is, public space. Because I was surprised when I used the burn pile, I believe last fall, that the trail that rolls to the south there and connects to kind of a quasi parking lot on that southeast corner. I couldn't imagine that as a city we would have ever really sanctioned that. So it's green space. We allow people to use it, and people are, to a certain extent, making some of their own trails. And it's not that we want to rain on anybody's parade for doing so, but we have to make sure we're doing things that are in the best interest of the city, with our protections in place. So that's why I encourage public comment to all alderpersons, approach myself, City Administrator Meglin, and we'll do the best we can to, as we move forward, to make sure, we can find something that makes sense for the entire community, I think.
Can I make a comment? Of course, sir. Can you come forward and just state your name?
Name is Carl Ott, lived here for about 18 years. We use those trails all the time. We're also part of Troop 100, and we do a lot of hiking in that area. We're very familiar with those trails. And they do need cleaned up, and that'd be a good project for the scouts sometime too. But they are very important to the kids and everyone around there, so.
And I would offer the same thing. We would encourage a discussion with either myself, a more detailed discussion, or City Administrator Meglin. And, we always enjoy and appreciate cooperative partnerships with things such as the Boy Scouts when it comes to things. So if there's things that we can do to work together, we will definitely do so.
Right.
Yep.
Thank you.
Anyone else? Okay. Without further public comment. Okay, next on the agenda would be a move into executive session for 5 ILCS 120/2C21.
Motion to move into executive session per 5 ILCS 120-2C21.
Motion by Arnold,
Second.
second by Swanson. Roll call.
Arnold,
Yes.
Samowski,
Yes.
James.
Yes.
Roothouse, Swanson,
Yes.
Kennett,
Yes.
Rothschild.
Yes.
We only after action. What's on the agenda?